Hey there, or yo. If you could see the video, I have a yo shirt on. Oh, that's a dumb thing to say, isn't it, man? Hey there, I'm DJ Waldow, and I turned 50 on February 23rd, 2026. So for the next 50 days, I'm sharing one thing per day that I've learned over almost 50 years on this planet. Today's thing: perfection is overrated. Let's go. Let's dive in. All right, thing number three: perfection is overrated. I left that in there intentionally. That imperfection where I screwed up when I was trying to say perfection is overrated. Go figure. All right, this one's pretty straightforward. There is no such thing as perfect. Almost age 50, I probably lived my first 35, 7, almost 40 years trying to achieve perfection. It showed up in all aspects of my life. Everything I did, I wanted to make sure I did it 100%. Now, I'm not talking about effort. I always give 100% effort, or I try to. But I know it really helped me a lot in school in many ways because I really try to, make everything just right. Now, it also slowed me down a lot as I got older, as I started my writing career, making sure everything that I shipped, everything that I submitted was exactly right. But as you can imagine, the problem with that is two things. Number one, you actually don't ever ship anything. You don't ever put anything out into the world because you're so afraid that it's not perfect. So you have a lot of things sort of sitting in draft. You never achieve that next thing because you're so afraid that it's not just perfect. And one of the things I learned years ago is that, sometimes your 95% is pretty darn good and it's enough. It depends on what you're doing, right? If you're flying an airplane or if you're doing surgery, yeah, that probably has to be pretty close to perfect. But a lot of other things in life, in fact, I'd argue most things in life don't have to be perfect. In fact, not even close. So I now jokingly say, although I would argue it's quite true, is I'm a recovering perfectionist. And I say that because it never really goes away. I really do strive to get things exactly right. Right, I've done a few takes of this. Actually, I haven't. This is really just the first take. I might cut some things out, but I might keep them in. Doesn't have to be. But the problem is when you try to be perfect, it creates stress. And especially if you're trying to get something done, you can lose momentum because you're trying so hard to get it just right. Like I said, throughout my life, it's manifested in many ways. As a parent, I always thought, God, I've got to do this exactly right. I've got to do this. I learned quickly with parenting. Parenting is obviously, we'll get into this more and more in the different things, but obviously, parenting is one of the most humbling things you can do because there is no such thing as perfect in parenting. We're always trying, we're always just trying to figure it out. As I said in thing number two, we're always trying to wing it, right? Everybody's just winging it. I think a lot of times my perfection, at least for me personally, and I don't know if this is the case for you also, but it was a little bit of fear. It was a little bit of afraid to do something wrong. So I wanted to get it just right every time. That's really hard to do. Arguably, that's impossible to do. And the other thing I realized over time is that my standards for perfection are different than most of the rest of the world. So, for example, if I can get a piece of writing done and in my world, it's 90% of the way there, but my client believes it's 100%, they're happy with the output. That extra 10% that I put in doesn't really matter in the end. If my client doesn't need it to be 100% or their 100% is different than my 100%, it's fine at 90. I'll talk a lot more about parenting over the next 50 days, but I really do, again, think this applies to parenting so much. And so much about what I try to teach my kids is that it doesn't have to be exactly right. There are times and places to be perfect, but for the far majority of the things we do in this world, good enough or great enough is enough. So once that happened to me, once I realized that I didn't have to be perfect in everything I did, and again, it's a journey. I'm still struggling with it every day. But once I realized I didn't have to be perfect in everything I did, it just took that stress out and allowed me to just be a little bit more free and be myself and try new things and take risks. This is a phrase that you've probably heard before. It's not something that I created, but I am going to steal it. Progress beats perfection every time. Progress beats perfection every time. It's okay to start things a little messy. It's okay sometimes to ship things a little messy. You can fix it as you can go. You can fix it as you go. See, there you go again. And that's what this podcast is all about. It's not perfection. Okay, that's it for today. Thing number 3, perfection is overrated. If you like this episode or this thing or what I've been building so far, please go to 50things.co, share it with your friends, like, subscribe, YouTube, TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, all the different channels. Share it, like it, love it, all the things. Thank you. See you tomorrow.